Right, I don't know what the problem was, but hopefully I've solved it now. I've unplugged everything and plugged it all back in, so hopefully we're coming through much clearer for it. It does look like the monitor's better than it was. So I don't know what that was, it might have been some odd feedback or something, but we are sorted. No, I think it was mine, Jason, because I looked at the monitor and there was a little bit, it seemed to be constantly on the mic. But I just unplugged everything and plugged it all back in, and I think we're fixed. But we've missed some action, and I'll tell you, this is the action we've missed, because when I went away to fix my mic, Avalon was in 4th place. He's now running in 2nd. He is 8 seconds back from Kevin. TJ up to 4th. Have we had some pit stops? Is that why? Well, Wiggy's in the pits. Nobody else is pit, though. So was there a coming together? Because TJ up into 3rd place. Fubar is down into 4th. Aussie down into 5th. GMAC down into 6th. Wiggy is at the back, but he has just been into the pits. So it looks like there must have been a coming together. And I will go back and have a look and find out what happened there. Yeah, it is much better now, Jason. I can see it on the monitor, to be fair. Don't know what happened there. I think I'm going to have a good sort out of all my wires tomorrow and just check everything's working properly. I had a horrible feeling that Mousy had bitten through my mic wire, and I was going to have to rip out all my walls out to find the little fucker. But as it happens, I can just leave the traps out and wait for one of them to get him. So Kevin currently in the lead at 7.8 seconds. Whatever carnage went on behind has just allowed him to disappear off up the road. Fastest lap of the race so far, 48.8. There was me thinking race pace was going to be in the 1 minute 50s. Nope. It is for pretty much everyone else. So Avalon is now up into 2nd place. His gap to 3rd is 3.1 seconds as we're just past the 10-minute mark in this race. And Fubar, the WRX, jumps into the pits here on lap 7. So it is a 2-stop on the medium tyres for the WRX by the looks of things. And it is a 2 compounds required race. So is it going to be medium, soft then? Wiggy on those medium tyres. He will come through. Will he take 6th place back? Bear in mind, he made his way up to 5th, but he had TJ and he had GMAC behind him. GMAC now ahead. TJ now up into 3rd place. And we're absolutely gutted. I missed that trying to fix all this palaver. Running well as well. 5.1 seconds clear of Aussie in the Not Diablo. And be interesting to find out what happened. We'll have well, to be fair, I think I've probably got the footage, because I've got footage of, we were watching Avalon. Yeah, I saw that, Jason. We've got GT Fusion coming up. That's at the end of November. I think it's the last Saturday in November. The track and car have been announced. The car is the phenomenal Subaru BRZ, or BRZ as other people call it. The track, though, is the horrible, shitty Autopolis. But, you know, them's the brakes. Just out of interest, anyone that's interested, the GT Fusion race also this time is going to be heavy damage. They've made it as difficult as possible this last race, which I suppose you need to do for the championship decider at GT Fusion. And that will be here live on Black Flag TV. The probably Group D, but you never know what group I'll end up with. And obviously once we know where all of our guys are racing, we will announce it. So we've got Kevin running in first, 7.7 seconds clear in the Porsche Cayman. He is well ahead of Avalon Shadow at the moment, who look to have benefited from some fisticuffs maybe from everybody else. Let's have a look at times actually. So TJ was running in last place, has moved his way up to 3rd. Aussie Rooster and GMAC both in the pits at the moment. Now what happened with them? Because I'm looking at the lap times, and there was a couple of bad laps there from Aussie. Yeah, he had a 153 or 156, and that was 2 bad laps there, and a 211, which dropped him down the order. GMAC has been very steady actually. He worked his way. He could have worked his way back down the order again now though. Fubar. So did Fubar and Aussie have a little coming together on lap 5? Because it certainly looks like they did that, because it's quite bad time for that lap. But Fubar does go back through. Aussie in 6th, GMAC in last in the BMW. Yeah, 26th November, so last Saturday of the month. There is Kevin, your leader, 8 seconds clear. and quite disappointed actually. Our GR4 lottery has kind of dropped off. We started with big numbers, and it's slowly got smaller and smaller and smaller as the competition's gone on. As people have just really didn't like their cars and just thought, fuck it, I'm just not going to race. But that's not the spirit of what we were doing. But we will use a similar system, but in a different way for season 2. I've already got plans for it, and I will announce those plans when we get to towards the end of season 1, which we are currently on. But there is your lead at 9.4 seconds now as Avalon dives into the pits. Kevin getting a very, very good wear out of those tyres. He's going to one stop on those medium tyres. So Avalon diving into the pits for his first stop, probably only stop actually, as is TJ, who is also running the medium tyres. So that one-stop strategy, is that going to put them well in front of everybody else? Wiggy stopped very early. He is on lap 8, he's running in 4th place at the moment. And Fubar just come out of the pits on the mediums. Aussie on the hard tyres. I think he's going to try and run to the end on those hard compound tyres. And then we've got G-Mac bringing up the rear, also opted for the hard tyres. Not sure how racy they're going to be on that compound. What about? Okay. She's sick. Is what it is. Fuck him. She's sick. Yeah. And that's a big, massive spin from G-Mac. Apologies for that. Big, massive spin from G-Mac. And that is going to set him back somewhat because he's now 17 seconds back. There is just no grip in those hard compound tyres. So unless he can get them warmed up enough and get them working. Aussie Rooster running in 6th place. He is now 19 seconds ahead of G-Mac after G-Mac made that little error. Avalon Shadow down in 5th. He's just finished his pit stop. He's running a one-stop strategy on those medium compound tyres as Kevin jumps in at the end of lap 9 for his pit stop. TJ in the McGann running in 4th place, 1.3 seconds up from Avalon Shadow at the moment. He hasn't long been out of the pits. So, one stop for TJ, one stop for Avalon, one stop for Kevin. Does that mean that's going to be your top 3? Well, who knows? Because Fubar at the moment is running 6 seconds up the road on the medium tyres in that WRX. He will have to pit again, but he'll be able to put on the soft tyres for that last little stint. That could make him very, very quick indeed. And he was quick from the outset in this race. Wiggy on the medium tyres in the Suzuki Swift is currently running in 2nd place, 11 seconds clear of Fubar. Don't know how far behind Kevin is. Did he just overtake Kevin? There is Kevin coming out of the pits. There goes Wiggy. And that is the car that could. The little Suzuki Swift, the little tight pocket rocket, takes the lead of this race. 1.9 seconds clear. And if he wins the race with that car, if he wins any of these 3 races with that car, I'm going to double bubble his points. Just because it would be a phenomenal effort. His fastest lap of 150.4 is going to be something crazy. And no wonder that car is smiling, because he's currently in the lead of this race in the little tykes. So G-Mac, 17 seconds back. He spun on those hard tyres in the Rocket BMW and finds himself way down the order. Aussie in 6th place, 13 seconds off the back of Avalon. One wonders if there was a coming together, and how badly that has affected their race, because at the moment it looks like these two are going to run to the end. So they've gone for the one-stop strategy, but with the hard tyres in the second stint. It really depends whether they can close the gap on those in front. I think it's going to be a struggle to catch Avalon. He's on a one-stop on the mediums, and TJ also on a one-stop in that McGann on the medium tyres. But Avalon is closing. That gap is only 1.3 seconds now to TJ. Avalon last lap. He's just picked up a 1 second penalty. That's going to put paid to any overtake this lap. Well, he might make the overtake this lap, but he's going to lose that place come the following lap. But Wiggy, the gap down to 0.3. Kevin is about to burn the little tight. And he makes the move round the outside. Doesn't go this time. just tucks it in. He does have some good straight line speed in that Swift, to be fair. It is keeping up almost with the Cayman. And then they go side by side, a little wave through the window. Kevin into turn 1, retakes the lead of this race here at Barcelona. But Wiggy going very well in second. 8.2 seconds is the gap back to Fubar. Wiggy does need to stop again, but so does Fubar. So Wiggy has got to stop probably this lap actually. But then he'll run to the end of this race on those on the next compound job. Remember, it's a 2. You'd run after. I'm sure you have to run 2 different compounds. I always forget with this one whether it is a 2 compound expectation, or is it just any tyres? I think it's any tyres actually. I don't think there's 2 specific compounds. Yeah, any tyres can be used, so it doesn't matter what compounds you use. So you can run on those medium tyres again. So yeah, medium will be his tyres of choice. And I do love that strange looking wing on the top of that car. Almost like doors of a gull wing where they're lifted up at the back there. There's your leader, 3.5 seconds clear of Wiggy, 5 seconds clear of Fubar. He's 7 seconds clear of TJ. How long is TJ going to stay there though? Because Avalon, I was going to say Avalon's closing on him, but he's not. You're not going to close on nothing when you're in a wall. That's a blow, big blow for Avalon. Made his way up to second in the first stint, was closing down on TJ, found himself in a wall. He's now 11 seconds back with some damage on the front of that Alpha. Just goes to show how quickly things can change. But that now puts Aussie 7.2 seconds back. G-Mac dropping further off the pace. 20 seconds now he is behind. So Fubar will go through, Wiggy coming into the pits, TJ is through. It looks like Avalon will probably come through as well. But remember, they're 1 stopping. Wiggy is 2 stopping this race. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. So Aussie is 28 seconds back right now. I know he isn't. Not at all. So Aussie goes through. But Aussie on the hard tyres. Can he hold off the charge of Wiggy when Wiggy comes out? Where does G-Mac figure here? Just coming through that chicane in the BMW. He's some way off the pace. Be interesting to see where he really does come out. So he is coming down the pit straight now. Wiggy will go essentially from first to last in the sake of 1 lap. But Wiggy is coming out in the little car that could. He's on the inside coming into turn 1 as well. And doesn't get past him, G-Mac. So G-Mac 1.2 seconds behind. And the Suzuki Swift is a little bit swifter than the BMW. 11 seconds is the lead now for Kevin, 77. He's absolutely turned it on in that Porsche Cayman. And you know what, right? He is the luckiest man alive, because he jumps into this late on. There's still some shitty cars available, and he only goes and rolls the Porsche Cayman. How lucky can you get? He gets 1 roll and rolls the Porsche Cayman. Wiggy gets 2 and he rolls the Atenza, which he hated, and the Suzuki Swift, which is an awful car, as Kevin just puts in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:47.6. That is phenomenally quick. So Fubar in for his second stop. That will promote TJ and Avalon, maybe even Aussie Rooster as well. It's an extraordinarily long pit stop here at Barcelona, considering that the actual pit lane isn't that long. I don't know if we can see it on the view here as he comes round, but it starts there and you pull in, and it's basically the length of the straight. So there it is. You only have to drive to there, but it takes 44 seconds for a pit stop, not including the time you are stopped. 40 or so. Well, if you stop for tyres, I think it's a 44-second stop. It's ridiculous, isn't it? 44 seconds for a basic stop there. You know, an F1 car can do it in about 20. It just goes to show how out of proportion it is. So, as I thought Fubar going to do the last stint of this race on the soft tyres, Wiggy does go through. Fubar comes through in 6th, just behind Wiggy. Got some work to do here. Not sure 2 stopping is the right course of action here. So Kevin, 1 stopped. 19 seconds clear now. TJ1 stopped. He's got 10 seconds on Avalon, who did close them at one stage, but had a crash and now has some significant work to do. He lost an awful 11 seconds in that crash. So 1:49.4 was his last lap. TJ with a 1:50.0 in order to catch him, because we're only 5 minutes from the end here. He's got some significant work to do. So here is FeR chasing down Wiggy, trying to get some extra points, get that WRX a little bit further up the field. He is tucked in behind the Suzuki Swift. Can Wiggy hold him off? At the moment, GMAC with a penalty, and he loses the car again, does he? He does rescue it. Good save there from GMAC. Thought he was going to lose that BMW, but he's held onto it quite well. But that's not going to be a quick lap, as he serves that penalty as well. So there is FeR on the back of Wiggy, looking for a way past the Suzuki Swift. He's not going to be able to make it here as they turn in down to second gear. There'll be another, or first gear actually, for the Rooks, and then on the power, and he's going to be tucked under that wing. Can he make a move into turn one? He's got a great exit out of there. Wiggy can't get anything more out of that Suzuki Swift. Across the line, pulls alongside, and it's just a breeze past that Suzuki Swift. Yeah, I think we're going to have to look at what car's going to. I think because the problem is you BOP it, and actually you're probably closer, but BOP is rubbish, and being able to tune here is rubbish. I think when you've got a car that's so down on power like the Swift compared to others, you know, it doesn't matter how much PP you allow, it's going to be very difficult to match what the others can do, because they start from a much better starting point. But he is 14 seconds clear of GMAC. Has GMAC had another crash? Doesn't look like it at this stage. So Kevin, he's well in the lead, 21 seconds. We've got to find a way to slow this board down. I think we're going to have to introduce some ballast racing. And he's just going to have to stick some shopping in the back of his car just to slow him down a little bit. TJ is 11 seconds clear of Avalon Shadow. That's 11.4 seconds clear. That's a very, very good. I'm good, Paul. Hope you're well too, mate. Gutted to be missing you this evening. Hope everything's all right and there's no nothing major going on. TJ is 21 seconds back from Kevin. He is 12 seconds up from Avalon after Avalon's little foray with the wall. 13 seconds though from Aussie. We will have a look back and find out if there was a coming together between Aussie and FeR and those guys out in front, because that's some really good racing early on from them. But they, when I went to fix the mic and came back, it was all changed, as you remember. But FeR up to 5th place on those soft compound tyres. He's got past Wiggy, who's on the mediums. Wiggy is 17 seconds clear of GMAC in the BMW. And I tell you what, I don't know why he didn't swap out that car in the at the midpoint, because he's been struggling in this car since day one. He could have ended up with a European Mazda. Okay, I'll have a look in a bit, mate. I'll have a look in between races when they go for a smoke and all that. So Kevin in the lead at the moment, 22.5 seconds clear. Yeah, so we've got something coming up soon for Sunday evenings, which will start the week after next, and it will be still be a handicap series, but a more rigid handicap series where we're going to be giving out points. It will be all about the ballast in your car. So depending on, and over the next week or so, I'll be allocating driver rankings. I've got a little system to work it out based on race results and bits and pieces like that, which will give you a ranking, and where you fall within that ranking will determine levels of ballast, tyre use and that kind of thing for that competition. And obviously that, that's a fluid thing. So as you move up the order, the amount of ballast that goes in your car will increase, and as you move down it will decrease, and so on and so forth, with the whole aim to try and balance out the field a little bit. We did see our very own Jay, who's watching this evening, Jay, win a race against these guys. You know, we're not talking about against people just like me and Grizz. We're talking about these guys in Tokyo under this handicap system, or under a handicap system, and we're going to improve on that and just try and give it a much more level playing field. I'm quite looking forward to that, actually. I think it's going to be a really, really good race series. But then, you know, I think all the race series are going to be really good. But, it is what it is. So, Kevin in the lead, 24 seconds clear of TJ. He's opened up the gap from Avalon in that McGann. It didn't look early on like anything like this was going to happen, because Avalon was way back. TJ was way down the order. But all changed, and here he is. Avalon running in third in the Alpha. 15 seconds ahead of Aussie Rooster, who was the early kind of favourite to be nicking a podium as Kevin finishes this race significantly ahead. So TJ will come round the final chicane, the Catalunya chicane, very aptly named, and he will take second place here in the Renault Megane, 25.5 seconds back from the leader. 25 seconds back on a 30-minute race. It's ridiculous. So we actually ran out of time there, so bang, done. So we didn't even get to see everyone else finish. Kevin was so far ahead. Maybe it was set to a bit too small. So there we go, it's race number 1 done. I'm just going to do a quick break before we go out and do the next load of... what's it bloody called? The next load of qualifying. So I'll be back shortly. I will leave you with the beautiful arse end of some cars. So Aussie just put in what looks like a practice lap in to try and get his way back in. He did have some really good pace early on, but whatever happened, and it put him further back. So it looks like he's just trying to get his rhythm back. Certainly going to be some points out there for him. GMAC as well is going to need to find some rhythm in that BMW. Hasn't been kind to him with pace. It must be the car just doesn't have the right kind of pace in it. But excuse me, sorry, I'm really tired today. The opportunity to swap has gone. So we're on round 7. We've got a few rounds left, and this will come back new and modified for season 2. not quite so many cars in the lottery this time. We got two options, which I haven't decided on which yet. I might put it to the group to vote. In that we do 10 rounds with 10 different cars. We put them on the wheel and we spin those cars out for each race. So everyone's in the same car, or we do fixed cars and we spin out your car out of a choice of sort of 5 or 6 top cars. We will wait and see. I quite like the idea of 10 different cars and we spin them out for each race. In fact, I quite like to spin them out and spin out the tracks as well. So we stick down 20 tracks and 10 cars or 20 cars and spin them out each week for the following week. Also want to change the qualifier for this as well. I think we should do. No, we'll talk about it later. Because I'm thinking to make this more of an endurance type race scenario rather than 3 sprint races, because we've got endurance settings on with tyres and fuel, but we're doing it over 3 races. I think we need to do it over one longer race and do it in that scenario. But we'll see how the boys think when we go over it. But good, it was a good idea. We just need to tweak it now. So Aussie trying to put in some solid time and ready to go for the next qualifying session, which will be a couple of minutes. So you can watch Aussie go around and I will be back with you shortly. Tell you what, it's bloody cold out there. Let's go and have a look what is occurring. Is everyone going out on track now? I assume they are. Yeah, don't go outside, man. It's an ideal time to give up smoking, I'll tell you that. Not what I'm going to. I like the fans too much. No, seriously, I probably should do. Right, so out lap for everybody. I don't think we can expect anything less than the Kevin win again. We only have 5. Oh, what's going on? Room being prepared. Did some people jump out and make some changes, maybe? Right, here we go again. We'll try again, shall we? Right, we are now qualifying. So, 1 hot lap as before. I suppose there's always the I think the problem is there's always the issue of someone maybe cocking up the hot lap. But I think when you've got a 30-minute race after that hot lap, it's enough time to kind of repair yourself. If there was no tyre wear, then it's a very different story. And talking of no tyre wear, we have got the next round of our brilliant little racing series with our friends at Virtual Races Club on Wednesday. We had one race at Nürburgring, which I think that's still going to be replayed at the end. We'll find out from them if that's what they want to do. Then we moved on to the Red Bull Ring last week. That was a brilliant race at Red Bull Ring. And PM10, who is currently watching, I believe, managed to, against all odds, on some very, very, very warm tyres, hold off the charge to make it a 1, 2, 3 for Black Flag. There'll be 2 streams of that to watch. You can watch with me and my late night radio voice with Pirate, or you can listen to the more upbeat, happy, chappy thingamajig from VRC, who'll be in the studio next door, beaming live from that race, which will be at Lego Maggiore. Black Flag will be driving, will be in the Alpha 155, will be in this car right here. Not that particular one, it'll be a different colour. That's Avalon's car, but we'll be in that car. They will be in the very, very good Silvia, I've got to say. It's a very, very good car. I think we've brought a knife to a gunfight. But we'll see how it goes when the race starts. But that'll be here live on Wednesday. But tomorrow we are back to Formula One action with the Late Night Racing League on F1 2022. Race number 1 was last week. That was a brilliant race at Canada. This week we move to Italy for Monza for round number 2, and I'll tell you what, there's some quick guys in there, and it's going to be a good one. So you've got to tune in for that, because the last week's race was brilliant, and it's going to be brilliant again. And then and then we've got more F1 action on Friday when Euro Trips, who had a break last week, are back. So Kevin is on his hot lap. I fully expect him to be putting in a very, very solid time here, with GMAC at the moment behind him. Can he get any more performance out of that BMW? Is the BMW really that bad? Anyone that watches this video later on, please leave a comment about the BMW. If you think the BMW is really that awful a car, or if you think there is something that can be done. Bear in mind, they've got a 700 pp limit they can work to, so they can tweak the car and jiggle around with the car as they need to. Is there something you recommend that he would do to make that car better? What about Wiggy? Do you think there's anything you can do to the little Tommy Tippy Cup of a car to make that any better? So Kevin will round the final corner. I thought one of the mouse traps had gone off then. It was one of the kids shutting the door. I was about to cheer that I'd got one of the little blighters. So Kevin, 146. He just gets quicker and quicker, this boy. GMAC, what's he done? One hot lap has given him 49.0. Fubal across the line next. 1 lap pace. Very good 1 lap pace, to be fair. 47.0. That's a good lap from him. The problem, I think, is his tyres. Aussie with a good lap as well. What's Wiggy giving us? Wiggy coming through now. In the little car that could. He crosses the line, and that is a 52.1. That's not a great lap from him. Avalon Shadow 48.1. The battle here is going to be for the top 3. Well, the next 2 of the top 3. Certainly first place, I think Kevin has got this track sewn up. Avalon knows his track very well. You would expect to see him there or thereabouts. He was catching TJ on that last race, but just gave it too much beans into one of the corners and found himself in the wall. So here we go, race number 2 about to begin. Tyre choices. Everyone opting for the mediums, bar Wiggy, who's change of strategy and gone for a longer run on the hard tyres this time. Is he going for a 2-stopper here? He's quite high tyre wear. and fuel. For a 30-minute race anyway, it certainly is. But you know, it's always something new and exciting, isn't it? We have got a really, really cool event coming up very soon, starting on the 19th of November. It is a charity event to raise money for the Mind charity. I'll play a little video for you later, just to show you what it's all about. It's 5 3-hour races. Those 3-hour races are going to emulate a full 24-hour racing cycle. You're free to enter one or all of them. We did a couple of tests last night, so we've got the settings down. I will post them up in the next 24 hours. So here we go. Lights are coming on now. Jump out, and if we jump back in, we can see him get away. Kevin away well this time. FeR doesn't hesitate. Straight into the lead of this race. Much better start from him this time. How long can he hold Kevin up for? Aussie as well, going very good running into turn 1. It's a great start from the Lamborghini. Aussie round the outside. He'll have the inside line going into turn 2. Kevin will have to concede, but he'll have the inside line into turn 3. So already it's going off here. Kevin just retaining second place. Avalon makes the move up the inside. Doesn't make it stick though. And Aussie gets to keep position 3. But not for long, because Avalon is keeping that car up the inside. He will not let Aussie take an apex here. But Aussie now will have the inside line. Gives Avalon that little bit of room on the outside. Gets it turned in. Keeps third place for himself. So FeR up in the lead. 1.2 seconds already ahead of Kevin, who's just going to toy with him for a while. Then we've got Aussie just sitting back there in third place. Just half a second off the back of Kevin. Yeah, it's really hard to do it. I think the tyre settings are probably one setting too high for this, but you know, it makes for a more exciting race, doesn't it? They've got to really think about how they tune up the tyres and stuff. The whole point of doing it was as it was, but with the 700 pp was there. You could opt to tune your car out of soft tyre range and to give yourself more performance. And some people have done that, and it's worked quite well. Others not necessarily so much. So FeR in the lead. He is 8 tenths up as we go into lap 2 here. Kevin in the Cayman, trying to stay in the slipstream, but FeR does not want that to happen for too long. Aussie sticking with that battle. Top 3 now, 1.1 seconds back to Avalon Shadow. He's got a half-second penalty. Not a great penalty to have when you've got people close around you. Aussie looking around the outside, can't find a way through. And look at Kevin battling with FeR round the outside into turn 3, sweeping through. But FeR, can he maintain the inside line here? It's a look at the action up ahead, and everything being watched by Avalon, hoping for a coming together. Lovely switch back by Kevin, makes that switcheroonie, and we've got another switcheroo, but he's holding the inside line. That is brilliant racing from those 3. And look at that FeR up the inside this time. They are absolutely on top of this. FeR back into the lead of this race. What brilliant racing from these 3 out front. And actually, where they've been racing each other, it's brought Avalon back into this battle. So we have got FeR in the lead from Kevin 77. Aussie Rooster in third place. Avalon Shadow, he's got a penalty to serve. That's going to drop him back into the clutches of TJ. Don't know if TJ is going to catch him, but he'll certainly be a lot closer as they go into the left hand here. And Kevin in a really good position. He goes a little bit wider, but it's going to give him the inside line here. And that is great racing. He's up into first yet again. And Aussie also trying to have a little look up the inside of FeR. But FeR in the WRX holds him off and keeps second place for himself. But Kevin finally muscles his way through and can start to get a hammer down in that Porsche Cayman. But great racing for all of them. To race as they did, side by side and not touch. Phenomenal performance. And we now have everybody involved. Top 5 all involved here. G-Mac and Wiggy. There's G-Mac 3.6 seconds back in the BMW, and Wiggy in the Tommy tipping cup of a car in 7th place, 2.1 seconds back. But that battle's still raging on up there. FeR holding off Aussie Still, Ozzy can't get out of third place. He's seen the guy ahead of him take first, but he's having another look here as Avalon also getting involved and maybe looking for the switch back. Makes that switch. Is he going to make the move on Ozzy? I think Ozzy's just got that straight line speed in the Lamborghini. They're side by side. Ozzy up the inside, makes the move on FeR. Little touch, but nothing doing. He makes the move though up into second place. Great overtake there from Ozzy Rooster. So FeR dropping down. He took first off the line. He's moved down now to third. And there's Avalon having a look. And a little touch there from Avalon puts FeR off the track. He's got to let him back through. But good sportsmanship to hold off actually. That's let TJ through into third place. So the rubbing is racing, but there's only a certain amount of rubbing you can get away with. And that was a little bit too hard. And FeR forced off. But Avalon does give him that place back. But good racing from them. Avalon now looking to try and make another move. They're not giving up this fight. It is game on for these. So Avalon now up into fourth. He does make the overtake this time. FeR just dropping off in that WRX. These two cars actually should be the strongest two cars out there. Certainly under Bop. Anyway. Little balance of performance. But that has pushed them back towards GMAC and away from the front three. 3 seconds almost to TJ now, Avalon is. He's got FeR just behind him. GMAC's a couple of seconds back, and then a couple more seconds back to Wingy in the Tommy Tippy Copper car, which is what we're going to call it, or the little Tights, as it's more commonly known, or the Suzuki Swift. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, turn one is the prime overtaking zone here. Everywhere else is reliant on others going wide or going far too narrow. Yeah, I think any overtake anywhere else on this track is bravery. Certainly in daily races where this is daily race C at the moment. If you're overtaking anywhere other than turn one, the idiots there are just going to cram you off into a corner, which has happened to me a couple of times today already. But we won't talk about PD and Sony's inability to code a penalty system for dickheads. So Kevin is half a second clear. Ozzy not letting him go. He battled and battled and battled, did Ozzy. And finally, I suppose, yeah, that left-hand hairpin after the long straight. But then I suppose it depends how tight you go into that. If you take it nice and tight, it's very difficult to make that overtake. And round the outside, I mean, there's not many people other than Kevin that can make that overtake round the outside. Especially when you've got so many cars going into it. But he is he's holding off Ozzy right now. Ozzy's been knocking on the door when he was in third. He's now knocking on the door, now he's in second. But they're starting to pull away now. 2.7 seconds back to TJ, who's dropping back into the clutches of Avalon and FeR, who's just dropped off there. A good battle, these two. In fact, the three of them, the four of them had a bit of a battle. FeR out in the lead with Kevin and Ozzy and Avalon, and it was all going off between the four of them. But TJ sat there at the back, saw the little coming together between Avalon and FeR, got to capitalise on that. FeR gets given the place back by Avalon, who then makes the overtake again. You know, it's like a footballer kind of taking the ball around a defender, giving him the ball back, then taking it off of him and putting it in the top corner. But this is the race. This is race number 2, of course. Kevin's 1.1 seconds clear of Ozzy, just starting to pull out, and Ozzy in the Not Diablo is 3.2 seconds clear of TJ. So this time he has got that Lamborghini swinging. We knew he had some pace in there. It was clearly an issue in race number 1, which sent him and FeR further down the order. And we just see Avalon now making that move on TJ up into third. So TJ and McGann not getting the performance we know. We've seen him perform better in this competition. But today he's not quite got the pace here. And I mean, you would have Avalon as an outside favourite for a podium at this track any day of the week, because he literally lives there. And, I don't mean he lives on the side of the track in a tent or anything. But, it's the same as me going to my local Asda. If I can't find my way around there, I've got problems. It's literally his local track. He works in the vicinity. That's his home ground. 8 tenths up from TJ now. He's made that overtake. Fubar 1.3 seconds back. Can he put TJ under some pressure? Now TJ can stop this. He did in race number 1, as did Avalon. Is he going to do it again in race number 2 and give himself a really, really good position for the end of this race? Wiggy's still adrift, 4 seconds now adrift actually, but he is on the hard tyres, so he's going to run a lot longer than everyone else. But if you notice that this Swift does no damage to the rear tyres at all, but everything to the front, and that's going to be a problem. And this is what I don't understand about this game. You've put a car in this class that can only race against other cars the same as it. It can't race with anything else in this class because you can't tune it. If you put tuning on, you can't get it tuned to the kind of levels of the others unless you dumb them right down. But you can't BOP it either because the BOP is just ridiculous for the Swift. So I don't know what the answer is, in all honesty. I really don't. I don't know how you... Why put it in the game, really? Why not put it in a different class? Because there's no way that this shitty little car is competing with other GT cars of the likes we've got out there in the real world, let alone on a computer game. Yeah, I mean it's bright. I think you're right. You can make that move, and I think in races like this, where you're racing with people on comms and you're racing in league racing, you probably can make that move. That move in the dailies though is suicidal, absolutely suicidal, because whoever's next to you will just fuck you off onto off the track and shut the door and not really care. And there's no punishment if they do knock you off anyway. But I had two. I've raced it 4 or 5 times today. I've had two. I had one where someone barged me into the pit wall. You know when you go in. So I was going up inside, and he basically forced me further and further and further in, and then gave me that little nudge to put me into the to drive into the pits. Wouldn't have been a problem if I could have got into the pits. I would have just changed my tyres. But I didn't have. I had too many beans and I hit the wall, and then got stuck in the pit lane. Yeah, no, you're right. To be fair, this track has been carnage today, absolute carnage. So I had that pit stop incident, and then I had one going into, before you get to the final chicane, you've got that right hander before you go down to the Catalunya chicane. But he tried to dive up the inside of me on the right hander, totally misjudged it, and sent me flying off onto the motocross course. And that put me back to last place. Did fight back to 7th then though, so quite happy with that, considering. But I was 2nd at the time that happened, which is a bit annoying. Avalon currently running 3rd. He's opened up a big gap on TJ now. Has he taken a little bit too much out of his tyres for the one-stop strategy this time out? His fastest lap of the race so far with a 48.2 really has pushed in this first stint. TJ running 4th, 13 seconds clear of GMAC. Fubar has been in the pits. Again, he's going for his medium soft strategy. So just can't get longevity out of the tyres in the WRX. And that, I mean, that's the other problem with the BOP. It should be that tyre wear is equal between cars if you're going to BOP it. I understand that we haven't got this on BOP, but it's still not the case anyway. 2.5 seconds is the lead. Aussie Rooster sticking with him, but Avalon Shadow is closing down that gap. He liked that battle with Aussie earlier and wants to get some more of that action going on. More action going on is what he wants to do. 3.3 seconds he is heading out of TJ, and that's GMAC taking his BMW into the pits. Is he going to go hard again? Possibly. It might earn him a place or two. Wiggy staying out on those hard tyres. He's up to 5th. How far can he run on those? Can he run far enough to put him in a position to go soft to the end? That'd be something, wouldn't it? Interesting. Interesting if he can make that work. That could certainly benefit him in that Swift. So TJ will hang it out for another couple of laps. Aussie Rooster, I think he's going to have to pit here. He's looking very ropey on that tyre. Avalon's already managed to get past him. but I think Avalon's taken a little bit too much out of his tyres for his one-stop strategy, unless his plan is to go onto the hard tyres. We know Kevin's not catchable. It doesn't matter what you do. You know, even if he makes a mistake, he's so far ahead and so quick. And he's taking it easy at the moment. He's done a 48.8 as his fastest lap. Avalon's done a 48.2. Excuse me. So Kevin does come into the pits at the halfway point for a change. Avalon, I think he's just about made it. Aussie as well. So Aussie is going to one-stop this as well. By the time they come out of the pits, it's going to be like 5 minutes left because it takes ages in there. So top 4 all into the pits, and here comes Wiggy. Wiggy's going to take the lead of this race yet again, but this time he hasn't stopped at all. So it could be a big difference here. Bear in mind, last time he already stopped once before he made this into the lead of the race. I don't think he will actually. I don't think it's close enough. But he is 18 seconds clear of Fubar. He is 28 seconds clear of GMAC. So Wiggy is going to come out ahead of GMAC after this pit stop. So he comes into the pits at the halfway point. So I think you might run the hards again then. So top 5 all in the pits. Who comes out first? Well, you would expect it'd be this man here, wouldn't you? He was in first. You'd expect him to be out first. So here he goes. Kevin coming out. Who's next out? Avalon not quite out yet. Used a lot more fuel than Kevin did. So Kevin will come out of the pits. He will take the lead of this race. Fubar coming through. He will take second place, but 7 seconds back from Kevin. TJ out next. He was a bit braver and a little bit less fuel to put on. He's running in 3rd place. Aussie Rooster running in 4th. So Avalon, big loser there, but he is tucked in under the rear wing of that Lamborghini. He put a lot of fuel on it, Patrick, but I think he needed it because it was very close. So Wiggy running in 6th place, just coming out of the pits now. He's ahead of GMAC. He's on the hard compound tyres. GMAC's gone for the mediums. Can he take those to the end? He has made the move on Wiggy already, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to be able to run those tyres until the end of this race, because he went in a little bit earlier than everybody else and he was struggling a little bit. And there we go. Look at that move from Wiggy. Very short-lived. Lost it and met some grass, so he is already dropping way back. But I think GMAC's good. We know GMAC can't look after tyres, so here's hoping for Wiggy's sake he gets to make up a place or two here. Certainly a place. Leads 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds for Kevin 77 in the Porsche Cayman. Fubar up to 2nd. He will need to pit a 2nd time, which will probably give Aussie, who's on 1 stop, Avalon, who's on 1 stop with a 1 second penalty, and TJ, who's also on 1 stop, a little bit of an advantage. And Avalon's already had an advantage to TJ by being carrying a penalty, because that's going to allow him to close that gap. Now, can he get past Aussie? It would be good to have a little bit of a buffer, but he's going to have some work to do. He is tucked in behind that rear wing now. Not quite close enough to make the overtake into turn 1. He's got to look after his fuel a little bit. It won't last all the way if he burns it too hot. Into turn 1. Aussie in 3rd place, but I reckon we'll end up in 2nd. Avalon currently running in 4th place. Will end up in 3rd when Fubar goes in. TJ is 23 seconds behind. He will probably come through as well when Fubar comes in. 14 seconds back, we've got GMAC, and 6.7 seconds back to the Little Tigers. So let's have a little on board with Kevin, just see just how smoothly he tackles this course. And so little movement in the steering wheel every time. That steering wheel is very similar to mine, so one's got a little key thing on the top. So orange thing. But even here, it's hardly any turning in the wheel at all. A bit more actually, 90 degrees for that. That's a big turn though, to do that at 90 degrees. It's a big turn. It's down into the chicane. Here he goes. He does the left hand side. He does the right hand side. Oh, little whip there, but he does save it. Back on the power and off he goes. Still 6 seconds clear though. And across the line for lap 11. or to start lap 11, should I say. FeR currently running second. He's got a few more laps to go before he's going to need to pit, but he will need to jump in there before the end of this race. The question really is, can he build up a big enough gap from Aussie Rooster, Avalon and TJ to maintain a podium position? Avalon's still the fastest lap of 48.2. So Kevin clearly taking it very easy in this race number 2. Aussie Rooster running in third place. He's built up a bit of a gap from Avalon. Avalon came out of pits, right tucked in behind him, but Aussie's decided he is off. He doesn't want to risk that being closed down on him. 2.4 clear. I don't know why Nick is jumping in and out of the room again. He knows the rules about fucking up the servers by doing that. It's a bad, bad thing. And we're already starting to see a little bit of lag. Avalon Shadow in fourth place in the Alpha. There he is on board with him now. That's the gap he's got to make up to get himself into that top 3. Although he is probably eyeing up third, knowing that FeR will need to pit. Or hoping, of course, that FeR will need to pit. He doesn't know for certain that that's the case. He will... he may be working out, I think maybe he is, but he's no way of knowing, so he's going to have to think about how he's going to close up on Aussie in the latter stages of this race. There's TJ, can't see, well he can now, but I don't think he's got the pace of the Alpha to really catch on, get on, not only just get on the back of the Alpha, but also make that overtake. But he will run to the end of this race. And his tyres are going to be a little bit fresher going into the last stint. So it might work out well for him. So there's Kevin in the lead, 7.8 seconds clear. FeR in second, 14.2 clear of Aussie. Not making any inroads into that either. But FeR needs to make that gap a bit bigger. If he does want any hope of staying in the top 3 after the pit stop. Avalon 2.3 back, just hanging in there at the moment. TJ a little bit closer to 2 seconds. If you watch Wiggy's 8.5 back. He's running those hard tyres again, but we know G-Mac in front might have to, very well might have to pit towards the end of the race. That's the question mark I've got. I can't see how he's taking those tyres to the end here. So I think that Wiggy might be in a decent position to gain an extra point. I don't know if he's going to gain any more. TJ's looking relatively midfield quick at the moment. And it's such a shame to have a small lobby this evening, because this competition has so much promise, but I think people unhappy with their cars have just dropped off a little bit. 9.5 to FeR. Here's the gap now, as Kevin starts to ramp it up a little bit. And there we go. It was only a matter of time. 48.1. He's starting to up the pace now and open up that gap. So there goes FeR into the pits for his second stop. He's going to jump onto the soft compound tyres. The question is now, who gets through? Aussie is going to get through. So's Avalon, who's closing that gap to Aussie. So's TJ, who is not closing to Avalon at the moment. Just needs to up that pace, but he's done his fastest lap of the race there with a 49.1. But Avalon did a 48.8. And Aussie with a 49.3. So at the moment, Avalon is the one in the ascendancy here. FeR, will he come out in ahead of GMAC? Well, GMAC is coming through, but we still think GMAC's got a pit again. I'm not entirely sure. He might make it. He might just make it, to be fair. We'll see. But Wiggy also through. So that drops FeR down to last place. Now, last time out, he did manage to get round Wiggy. He's got a little bit more work to do than he did last time. Wonder if Wiggy can hold him off. That'd be something, wouldn't it? 22.9 seconds now the gap. but not that one. That gap is smaller. Avalon is chasing. He's starting to ramp it up now. He wants to get past that Lamborghini Diablo. You've got to bear in mind that these two, in terms of championship positions, Aussie is currently sitting in 4th place in this Huracan, 288 points. Avalon, with 325 points, is 1 place above him in the Alpha. So ideally, he'll want to be ahead of him in all 3 races to really maximise the point haul. And obviously the other way around, from Aussie's perspective, he wants to be beating Avalon and closing that gap to the top 3. Now, this race will drop Stormfly out of the top 3, but we haven't yet readjusted for dropped races, and 2 of these 10 results will be dropped. Now, if you've got 0 points in one of those races, it's brilliant because you've essentially wiped out a race, where somebody else has gained points. If one of those races was a relatively high scoring one, which if it's relatively high scoring, and the others are very high scoring, then it's a bigger loss to you. But it does just close it up and makes up for people who have missed the week for whatever reason that might be. TJ as well would really want to get involved in, because he currently sits behind Aussie, only 14 points behind him. So a couple of good performances could very well close the gap on Aussie. So all to play for still for everybody on this racetrack. But Avalon at the moment just teasing himself closer to the back of that not Diablo, but still some work to do yet. And I think though the tyres are going to start to go off for Aussie before the time is up, and that will give Avalon an opportunity. Leads 22.9 seconds. Crazy lead. TJ just dropping off that pace now with a 4.5 second gap. If he's going to chase it down, now is the time to do it. But I don't think there's enough time left now. You need to be within a couple of seconds at this stage if you want to be making inroads now. GMAC 26 seconds back. Fubar already past Wiggy. 3.1 seconds is the gap he needs to make up on the back of GMAC. That is no mean feat, but remember GMAC is on very, very old medium tyres. Very old, so old that they would pension it off and put it at home and book it some tickets to Dignitas. It is that old, that front left tyre. And Fubar's on very, very new softs. So new, in fact, that Jimmy Savile tried to date it. And here he goes, Fubar making the move. He pulls it out side by side. That BMW is absolutely powerless to stop it. And Fubar moves up to 5th place. I think that's where, albeit mistake-free, Fubar will stay. TJ too far ahead, 28 seconds clear. So one stop is clearly the strategy here if you can make it work. You need to have some pace in order to do it, and of course you do. So here we go. There is Avalon right on the back of Aussie now. He's decided it is time to make his move into this left hand here. Is he going to go around the outside? Try the little... He's made that move, but does it stick? He has made the move and he's made it stick. Great move there from Avalon. It's almost as though he was reading PM10's comments about chucking one up the inside there. So made that move on Aussie. Has Aussie got anything in response? He's got pace. There's no doubt about that. He's got pace. But can he do anything? Is he close enough to Avalon to make a move? Because Avalon already pulling that little Alpha away. That penalty though that he picked up making that overtake might be the saving grace for Aussie Rooster here. He just needs to stick with him, not let him pull out too big a gap now, and this could come back to him. We are on the penultimate lap, so this race is definitely not over. We're on lap 16. Once we complete this lap, there'll be one lap remaining. If they make it, I don't think they're going to make it, but actually I think this might be the last lap. So yes, this will be the last lap, not necessarily for this guy. This guy's got enough time maybe to steal an extra lap here. Is that his intention as well? I think he might steal an extra lap. I don't think these guys will though. I think this is the last lap for Avalon and for Aussie. So let's see if Kevin does get to complete this lap. So complete another lap. Excuse me. I mean, to be fair, he's far enough ahead that he could slow right up and just finish here, and he wouldn't get caught. But I don't think that's Kevin's way. Kevin will want to, if he has the opportunity to, take an additional lap. Touch and go, I think. I think this might just be the end. I think it is. It is the end. So here we go. Kevin will cross the line. Yet another winner here. Bang, there he goes. 25 seconds yet again. We're going to have to start slashing his tyres. Avalon is ahead of Aussie. Is Aussie coming back at him? Doesn't look like there's going to be enough time to come back at him. So Avalon will come home in second place. Here he goes, crossing the line. Good performance from him. Losing that car. Aussie through. TJ through in fourth. Fubar will come home in fifth. 19 seconds clear of Gary Mack, who is 5 seconds clear of Wiggy in the little car that couldn't. There goes Fubar. He will cross the line and finish in fifth place. So 2 wins from 2 for Kevin. Avalon gets a really, really solid podium. Aussie with a solid podium. TJ's just outside that top 3. Then we've got Fubar, G-Mac and Wiggy. So very similar. Not identical, but very similar to the last race. And I'll tell you what, if anything gets learned from these different performances in these different cars, it's that even with BOP on or off, you can't match some of these cars together. It just doesn't work. So there we go. So that's the final lineup there at the end of race number 2. And another win, of course, and fastest lap for Kevin 77. So another quick break, and then we are on to reverse grid. So how long can Wiggy and G-Mac hold everybody behind them up? Is Nick going to race in this race as well? That'd be interesting. So be right back, Sickles. While we have a break, I'd just like you to watch this if you wouldn't mind.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Mind's booklets.
Back in the room. I'm going to apologise, guys, because this has been a pretty lame stream, to be honest. Been a bit short of people in the race. Not much has gone on. Had issues with the mic early on, so it's been pretty lame. But I'll leave it out there anyway. You never know. You never know your luck. We might have a ridiculously awesome race this time out, and it all gets very exciting. You never know, do you? You never know. If you don't stay, you never know what might happen. And so we've got Aussie is out there giving some more laps. Much better performance from him in race number 2. And there is G-Mac in the BMW. Just can't get it done. He can't get super pace out of it. So one more hot lap from everybody. Have we just got the 6? Have we lost someone? Who have we lost? Has Kevin disappeared? Kevin is there. Who have we lost? Have we lost TJ? I do hope he comes back. Can't be doing with just 6 in the room, man. But we do need to go on a massive recruitment drive, and just about then. I mean, to be fair, we do race it. We race all over the place, really. We're not just racing here, you know. We've got team versus teams. We've got Fusion. I think we're going to try and get some people for champions next time out, if I remember rightly. I know that a couple of people have expressed interest in that. There's a couple of other external championships I'm looking at potentially getting in. But you know, we've got our own internal stuff we want to do as well. And we just want the numbers to do that. We've got enough people in Discord, just that some people just don't race very often. It is what it is. So we've got Nick as well. So we have got an extra. We've got an extra in this race, and Nick jumps in for the final race in the GTR. I love this car. The GTR. I love this car. 3-second penalty for you for crossing the pit lane line. Why didn't you get it? So Aussie Rooster first out. He is going to, and that was definitely one of our traps going off. Hopefully I caught a mousy. I'll update you tomorrow when I'm on the stream tomorrow. I will update you with his head on a pike. I changed it. I don't know if I've talked much about stuff. Of course I've talked about the mouse. But he chewed through a wire and prevented me from watching the F1 a couple of weeks ago. So I've now declared war. I had loads of traps out with peanut butter, and one of the little bastards must have stuck his little front legs behind his back and leant over and chewed it and not stepped on my trap. So I've gone different. I've broken out the Nutella and put them in strategic new places around the house. There's 8 traps in total all around my house. And bye bye, Nick. See you later. Aussie coming through, and I think this time, and what I've done as well, I've got this special little spray that is supposed to be a mouse repellent. But instead of using it as a repellent, I've used it as a funnel the mouse towards the traps aid. So hopefully we'll kill the little mice and get rid of them. It's annoying because I've got a dog in my house and my dog literally doesn't give a shit. I know he's not a cat, but you'd think he'd give a shit, right? Well, she'd give a shit, sorry. But no, she doesn't. So here we go. Here's Ozzy. He's going to cross the line and put in his hot lap. You want to hear about what Marshall, you want to hear about racing, although that's something else to talk about. Here we go. So Ozzy goes through. That's a 1:48.5 for Ozzy. What's GMAC going to give us? 1:51.2. Wiggy. Oh, sorry. Nice spin there from Ozzy. Here comes Wiggy. So Wiggy gives us what? Oh, he's just on that. Oh, 52.1. Kevin. I think he's going to be next across with the big timings. He's been crazy quick already. Crazy quick. There's just nothing we can do to stop this monster. He is a driving monster. It doesn't matter what car you put him in. He just. Do you know what? It's given me an idea. Actually, it really has given me an idea that we do this GR4, and it is different cars every week. But if you win the week before, then you get the Swift for the following week. That'll be quite interesting, to be fair. Yeah, I quite like the idea of that. So there is Kevin. He puts in another decent time, of course he does. Avalon gives us a 48.1. He's going to be there or thereabouts. 49.5 from Ozzy. A little bit slow from him this time. Here comes TJ. What time's he going to put in for us? TJ comes round. He's just coming into this right-hander. He'll come through the chicane. A 1 and a 2, and on that power, very close to the floor, that McCann, isn't it? He is a good looking car, that McCann. Across the line with a 49.2, that's a decent lap actually. So 49.5 from Ozzy. He's on the medium tyres. Was that set on the medium tyres? Just waiting for NJB. He's just picked up a penalty, which is not going to be great towards a good qualifying time here, but NJB comes round. He's going to set his qualifying time. I think that's going to put him around the back of the pack, but it is only one hot lap, so it is what it is. He'll come through in the GTR, and that will give him ching. I didn't see what time that came out, but anyway, that's everyone done. We've got one race left. It is reverse grid styling, so he will be in amongst the front, as will Wiggy. He didn't set a hot time in the end, but we're ready to go anyway. So Wiggy was going to be probably around the front of the pack. Then who's going to be with him? G-Mac's going to be there as well. Is he setting another hot lap? No, he's just farting around. Right, so here we go. What have we got in terms of, okay, so Nick John Baker didn't set the time, he'll be at the front. Wiggy in second behind him. Then G-Mac, then Ozzy had a bad lap, Ozzy. But actually this puts him in really good stead because he's pretty quick. Was he sandbagging? Did he stick a little bit of that Devon sand in his car, slow him down? TJ in fifth, Avalon Shadow in sixth, Fubar in seventh, was quick again, and Kevin in 8th place. So we jump out quickly, or do we get away with it? No, we have to do that. Here we go. So up to turn one, Nick John Baker in the lead with the Tommy Tippy cup of a car on the inside line. And look at G-Mac coming through in a BMW. Overcooked that a little bit, didn't he? But he did manage to hold it just, but loses a couple of places. So Nick John Baker holds it in the GTR, does stay in the lead. Aussie Rooster gliding through, can't get past Wiggy, does now. Does he take the lead of this race? He's side by side with Nick John Baker, and round they go into the left-hander. Aussie Rooster up into the lead of this race, dropping Nick John Baker down 2 seconds. Wiggy in third, TJ up to fourth, Avalon Shadow just behind, and G-Mac, despite absolutely melting it into turn one, he's back in 6th place behind Avalon Shadow. He's gone for a different tactic this time, picked up a penalty. I'm assuming that is for ignoring the racetrack completely. And Kevin making his moves already. So Fubar in last place. G-Mac in 7th. He's got that penalty. Kevin up to 6th. He's got a lot of bodies in front. He's going to have to try and make his way through. But Aussie Rooster going for it out in front. 1.8 seconds his lead already. He's going to have to make significant moves if we consider that Kevin has been winning by 20 odd seconds. Touch wood, it's not quite such a big deficit this time because he's got some work to do to get through the pack. So, big changes already. Kevin is up to second place. TJ third. Nick John Baker fourth. Fubar fifth. GMAC sixth. Wiggy in seventh. And Avalon, he's had a dink. Look, he's hit the front of his car. And that has put him down to seventh. He just makes that move on Wiggy. Wiggy in last place. So, Avalon had a problem. And start of lap 2, Kevin is already up into second place. What crazy sorcery was that? I thought it was going to be a couple of laps before he'd make that move, but already he's coming for Aussie. Run, Aussie, run! Kevin's coming. 2.7 seconds is that gap. 7 tenths back is TJ, and the top 3 now 2.5 seconds ahead. There is GMAC in that BMW. Come on, GMAC. See, let's see what you can do if you're up there. But clearly there was a coming together between a few people back there. Fubar has moved up off the back of the pack. He's ahead of Nick John Baker now, who started on pole position. 1 second is that gap. Wiggy is ahead of Avalon Shadow. Has he had another problem? Well, definitely, because he's off the track again. So finding it hard to get the rhythm back. He's already 4.2 seconds behind Tommy Tippy Cup of a Car, the little tight smiley monster. 2.8 seconds is gap to Nick John Baker. Can the swiftly dispatch the GTR? That's the question. What's his gap out front? 2.4, 2.2, 2.1 seconds. Aussie's still in the lead. It'd be nice if he could make it to the pit window. Still in the lead. That would make for an interesting second half. Kevin 1.7 back now. TJ 1.3 back from that battle. The front 3 are 4.4 seconds ahead of GMAC in the BMW. He's got another penalty. You're having enough problems getting the car around the racetrack as it is without picking up penalties and slowing yourself down even more, Gary. Aussie Rooster with the fastest lap of the race for about 3 seconds until Kevin crossed the line with 1:48.6. So I did see Aussie. It was caught for Prosperity, but wasn't kept for very long. But we all know you did it because we saw it. So GMAC running in 4th place. He's got a little bit of clean air behind him. 4.4 seconds back to Fubar in the Rooks. He's opted for the hard tyres this time out for the first stint, which might be a very clever ploy actually, because he's pretty damn quick anyway. Nick John Baker 3.2 seconds on the medium compound tyres. How far into this race can he take it? With a 2.5 second penalty, that's going to put him under pressure from Wiggy, who's already closing the gap on the GTR. Go, little car, go! What can he do from here? Now, I'm not being funny. You could fold that fucker up and put it in the boot of the GTR, but it is going some at the moment in the hands of the Welsh Wizard, and he's looking for any way round. Before he wants to make that overtake before Nick John Baker serves his penalty, ideally. And there he goes. He makes that move, and he's up into 6th place. Avalon starting to get it right there, starting to get those turns right, and he's up a little bit closer. 2 seconds back to Nick John Baker, who's about to serve that 2.5 second penalty, and that will free Avalon to start chasing down the little tights. And there he goes. Avalon is through. Nick John Baker dropping back behind. Aussie Rooster now, he's feeling the pressure from the Cayman behind. The little Lambo just picking up a penalty. So Kevin's going to try and make the move here. Can he make it with the slipstream into turn 1, or is he happy just to hold off, knowing there's a penalty there and he can take it then? And Aussie just desperately trying to shake him, but Kevin's having none of it. And they go into turn 1. Kevin has a look, decides better of it, just backs off. He knows he's got the pace later on, and it is about looking after the tyres at this stage and getting the maximum you can out of the fuel, and then making the move later on. But he knows he's going to get that place back, or get that place when Aussie goes into the pits. No, sorry, into the serves the penalty, or into the pits either way. He stays ahead until then, of course. TJ running in 4th. He's still 2.6 behind Kevin. As Kevin's looking to make that move. Does he make the move now? Side by side they were. He knows that's not the right place to do it. There is potential to make a move here if you can get it up the inside. That is probably another overtaking place, actually, which we didn't talk about. You can only really make that move, though, if they go wide into that left-hander to try and stay right. You can tuck it up the inside there and then hold it around the outside into the following turn. Looking up the inside here, and there he goes under braking, makes that move, makes the apex as well, and off he goes into the lead of this race. Yet again is Kevin. So Aussie currently in second. He's 1.9 ahead of TJ. He wants to run this as a one-stop. He's on the medium compound tyres at the moment. TJ also on those medium tyres. 10 seconds now back to GMAC, who is still holding off Fubar, who's running on the hard tyres though. So Fubar's going to run a bit deeper into this race than GMAC. GMAC's going to be looking to do a one-stopper again like he did last time. He's getting better at looking after his tyres, isn't he, this boy? How about that then? He's learned something since he's been with us. Fubar is 1.7 seconds back right now on the hard tyres. 5.7 ahead of Wiggy, who's running on the mediums. He will have to two-stop on those mediums. I don't think he managed to one-stop. Did he manage to one-stop last time with hards? He may well have done, actually. I can't remember. Avalon is 4.6 back now. He's round Nick John Baker. But he's still got some work to do. He's had some really poor laps. Best lap so far is 1:49.4, but he had a 56.8 and a 55.0. So he's not quite as consistent as he was in the previous race. And he'll want to improve on that as soon as he possibly can. Just to move up the order. He was in a position where he could chase down Aussie and ensure that he kind of kept the standings at a standstill. But at the moment, I mean, the gap's not big enough that Aussie's going to catch him, but it will certainly get smaller at this point. Avalon will leapfrog Stormfly at this stage, because Stormfly didn't race, but remember, we've still got to remove the two slowest results from the drivers when we reach round 10. Nick John Baker currently running in last in the GTR. There is Kevin in the lead. He hasn't pulled away super quickly from Aussie. Whether that's a deliberate act to just kind of hold there and just take it easy, which is probably the case. Aussie with another penalty, but at the moment, 2 seconds clear of TJ in that McGann. So the front three are now 14 seconds clear of anybody else. There is GMAC. He's got Fubar right up behind him. Fubar does have a penalty though, so he's on the hard tyres and he has a penalty. It's going to be difficult to make a move in that scenario. But Fubar would desperately love to get past him at this stage on those hard tyres and then maybe hold him off. But GMAC would desperately wants to go another 6 minutes on these tyres. But it's probably about another 3 laps. So it's lap 16 is where we go to. So if you can make it to lap 8, then you can make it to the end. So he's got to do 2 more laps on these. If you could do 3, it would give him a little bit more impetus at the end of the race. But I think 3 is a big ask at this stage. 1 minute penalty, 1 second penalty for Fubar. Imagine a 1 minute penalty, man, you'd be screwed. It'd be like that my 40-second penalty at Daytona, because they don't understand the difference between track limits and stupidity. They can't tell the difference between spinning and deliberately shortcutting. So Fubar does move off the racing line, as you would expect, to serve his penalty. GMAC picks up a penalty but doesn't serve it this time. There's Avalon in the distance, 7.6 seconds. He's around Wiggy, but Wiggy is only 2 seconds back. Avalon needs to continue with this pace in the Alpha to stay ahead, and he certainly doesn't want to be coming off the racetrack again. Wiggy running on the medium tyres this time. He's not going to be able to get 2 more laps out of them. He's going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Be the first in. So for all the I wonder if he'd still rather have this than the Atenza, given the situation now. who knows? Kevin in the lead, 2.9 seconds is that lead. Now he's opened that right out. Aussie's 1.6 ahead of TJ. TJ's starting to ramp it up, and he's looked after his tyres so much better than Aussie Rooster's been looking after his. Aussie's only got to do another 2 laps on those tyres, but he's got to hope they last, because that front left is looking worn as shit. Very, very worn. He might have to pit this lap here. That will free TJ, and TJ's got a good few laps left in those tyres. He doesn't have to pit at the midway point. He can take it till the fuel runs out. G-Mac ideally needs to go to the end of lap 8. Might have to resign himself to going in now as well, which is going to leave him vulnerable, because FUBAR is going long on these hard tyres, and there's a penalty there for G-Mac as well. And FUBAR goes through because he just had that little wobble. So FUBAR through, and with this penalty, G-Mac's going to drop into the clutches of the Avalon Shadow, and he's going to become his shadow very soon. Running in 6th place, he is 2.2 seconds behind G-Mac. Didn't have a great start, Avalon. On lap 2, he had a little problem, bit of damage, 56.8 that lap, which dropped into the back of the pack. Has started to fight his way back through from the back, but still plenty of work to do for him if he wants any chance of a podium. But at the moment, 30 seconds back, the podium is looking a dream, really. But he is tucked behind G-Mac there. G-Mac going the extra lap. He knows he needs to do 8 laps on these tyres, so that's what he's going to do. And Avalon's going to say, well, if you're going to look after your tyres, I'm not bothering now. I've done my looking after. I'm going to make a move into turn 1. But he doesn't. He just stays tucked in behind. So is he hoping the G-Max tyres are shot and he can make a move then? No, he makes the move there. What a move that was. Bravery personified. Bravery and trust is the order of the day. G-Mac picks up another penalty. And it's going to be hard work for him for the rest of this lap. So Nick John Baker in the pits. He's pitted very early. He could have taken those tyres another lap or 2, certainly. In fact, he looked after them and said, well, he probably could have taken them long enough to just go straight onto the softs. Odd choice to pit when he did, but pit he has done. Maybe looking for an undercut, possibly. So there's Kevin, 5.3 seconds clear of Aussie Rooster. Aussie Rooster now has TJ really, really close to the back. This is the view. Does either of them peel off into the pits? Aussie Rooster will have to peel off. There's no way he's going another lap on those tyres. And TJ will go through now, or TJ will follow him in. TJ's followed him in. Now, I don't think he needed to do that. I think he should have gone for it. I think he should have gone for another lap, put his foot down, tried to open up a bit of a gap, and gone for the overcut. Because he's still going to have to overtake him on the racetrack. Here comes FUBAR. He's going to come through. He hasn't pit yet. He's on the hard tyres. He will hang it out for a couple more laps before he does. Will he take them far enough to go on the softs? That's the question. I think that's his game plan. But you can only do about 4 or 5 laps on the softs. So he's going to need to get to lap 11 on those tyres before the softs become a viable option. But he's up into second now, 30 seconds behind Kevin. Kevin has a pit stop on the rest of the field. That's the reality. He has a pit stop on everybody. So he can stop when he needs to, stop when he wants to, and come out in the lead without any worry. Well, I'll say he's got a pit stop. It's about 44 seconds. He's got a little bit of work to do, but not huge amounts. It will be probably a lot more than that once FUBAR pits anyway. So TJ is out. He's got out ahead of Aussie. So he's been a bit braver with the fuel. And that has got him ahead of Wiggy, ahead of Aussie Rooster. Wiggy, we know, will have to stop again. Aussie's going to run to the end. But Aussie's 1.9 behind Wiggy. He's got to catch Wiggy first. Then he's got to get round him. Then he's got to make up the 2 seconds to TJ. So looking good for TJ at the moment if he can hold it. And a half-second penalty for Avalon Shadow. This is not the best of his races, this one. It's been last race was pretty good. This one has not been very Avalon friendly. So Kevin does go into the pits, end of lap 9. We know the race is running to lap 16. Can Kevin, here's a challenge, can Kevin push it to do 17 laps here? He's very, very close to the wire on the 16 laps. A little bit more pace, and he might just make 17 laps. It'll just be him doing it. No one else is going to make it that far. So here comes Fubar. He's opted not to stretch it out any longer than he needs to. Comes in, and he will put on probably the mediums, I think, and run to the end. But be a little bit racier on them, and because of it. Unless he feels he can get the soft 6 laps. Or 7 laps, in fact. So TJ will come through and will probably take second place in this race. I think Kevin will come out in the lead. Yeah, there comes Kevin. So there's Fubar just putting into the pits. So here comes TJ. He will take second place. Wiggy up to 4th place right now, but he does need to pit at some point before the end again. Aussie 1.3 back, chasing down the Swift. Driving very swift to chase down the Swift. Fubar still in the pit. Where's Avalon? Avalon just coming up to the Catalunya chicane. So looking a bit better for him now, but he has pit. He's ahead of GMAC as well. So things looking a little bit better for Avalon now. GMAC was running so well early on, but the pace just not there in that BM. And he is now back in 7th place, but he is 23 seconds clear of Nick John Baker, who's going to run to the end on the hard compound tyres. So Kevin in the lead, 14 seconds. There is TJ, he's 2.9 up from Wiggy in the Little Tykes Suzuki Swift. So there he is at the moment, and he's got Aussie 8 tenths back now. That the gap is closing. We know Wiggy's got to stop again, but I think Aussie's going to get this move done long before that happens. 19 seconds Fubar needs to make up on those hard tyres. But Wiggy does have to pit, so he's going to make his way up to 4th. It's whether he can hold off Avalon, because Avalon's on the softer medium tyres. And has he got all of his little accidents out of his system? That would be a good thing to see, and he'll just move up and maybe challenge Fubar towards the end of this race. Or can Fubar hold him off and steal himself a 4th place now? GMAC as well, he was quick early on. Is he quick enough this time out? Don't know, it's going to be hard to catch that out for the best of times. There's your leader, 15 seconds now. Fastest lap of the race, 1:48.6. It's just ridiculous what's this boy race. So quick. So quick. And there is TJ in second. I see Aussie in the distance there pulling out. He's making the move on Wiggy. Makes it relatively simply. 3.2 seconds is the gap ahead that he now has to chase down. So there is TJ. Under 3 seconds the gap. He's not going to chase. He's not going to be able to catch Kevin. His race isn't there. His race is behind. So it's all about keeping the car on the road and not letting the car behind close up that gap, which at the moment Aussie looks to be doing. Wiggy running in 4th. He's going to pit in the next lap or so and go on some soft compound tyres. Probably this lap actually. On some soft compound tyres. That'll put Fubar through. Avalon, who's 10 seconds behind him, probably wants to GMAC. Nick John Baker too far back to make any impact there. Don't know if GMAC's going to get through. But the other problem is GMAC's going to be on the medium tyres. And albeit that the BMW is a faster car than the Swift is going to be on faster, grippier, newer tyres. And GMAC might just be sliding around a little bit on some very worn tyres come the end of this race. So I don't necessarily think that's over just yet. .9 seconds is the gap still. Aussie Wisdom not quite closing in yet. Is he holding something back to the end? Tyres and fuel very similar for both cars. Neither pushing too hard at the moment. Just doing what is necessary to stay where they are. And it's good points for them as it stands. I mean, this will be a reasonable chunk out of it. 3 points out of Avalon's score just on this race alone for Aussie. As we see Wiggy go in, so that'll put it down to a 2-point swing, as they would say in the United States. And I got told off the other day for making a comment about the thieving bellend on the GT Champions stream. Apparently we don't cast aspersions on other people. But I've got a problem on here saying that the rumour is flying around the GT7 community. It's not rumour, it's true. But the news is flying around the GT7 community like wildfire about his theft from Drive, because it is theft. If you take sponsorship money from somebody and then remove them from the group and do not promote the thing they're paying you for, then that's theft. Simple as. Same way that it's like anyway. If a company gives me some money and says, "Here's some money to run your racing league or your racing team, you need to talk about me on the streams," and then I block all communication with them and I kick them out of the group, and then I don't let them. I don't do any of the advertising. Then I've got to give the money back. It's simple as. You don't take the money and then kick somebody out because you feel that's the right thing to do. Now, if you want to kick them out, fair enough, but you've got to give them the money back. Kevin picks up an unusual penalty for him. Probably just pushing a little bit too hard, but picks up a penalty. Unusual to see one of those above his car. TJ still in second, but the gap is now down to 1.2. He's had a bad lap here because here comes Aussie, and the Rooster is chasing down the little bellend in the white car. Sorry, mate, I had to get in. So the Rooster chasing him down. Can he catch him at the end of this straight? No, he can't. The McGann stays ahead. So and he lives to fight another day. Rooster's with a bit more work to do just yet to catch him up. Fubar looking pretty decent in fourth at the moment. He's on the hard tyres. Avalon 7 seconds back. He's got some work to do, but he's not looking as quick as he has been in race 1 and 2. Just doesn't seem to be able to get the Alpha Dold in this time now. But he's running comfortably in fifth. He's got GMAC 8.6 seconds behind him on similar tyres, similar wear. But we know how good, you ask these two. You give them exactly the same car, exactly the same fuel, exactly the same tyres. You will be watching GMAC drinking coffee 2 or 3 laps long before Avalon has to stop. 11.5 seconds back to Wiggy. He's gone for the medium tyres, but he can really push them now, to be fair. Can he push them enough to give GMAC something to worry about? I think GMAC's not in a position where he has to push too hard himself at the moment, although he did very nearly disappear that car off into the foreverness. But he hasn't got. He's not racing anybody per se, so he's not got to worry too much about how he defends or anything like how much fuel or tyres he uses. He's just got to get the car around the track and hope Wiggy doesn't turn that Swift into a Porsche Cayman. But it doesn't matter what you do in your car. If you're carrying penalties, it's going to slow you down. So 16 seconds to lead out front. We did see him have a penalty. He served that penalty now. We move on. And he probably won't see another penalty on Kevin's car for at least another 100 years. TJ 15 seconds back. But Aussie now really getting involved. He's got a penalty as Aussie. But if he can make this move now and open up a gap, he might just well stay ahead. Into turn 3. Sweeping, or turn 4 should I say. Sweeping bend. Down to turn 5 and turn 6. And this sweeps round to that left hand side before they get on the brakes again. Is he close enough for slipstream going down to the hairpin? Don't think he is. He's going to get a little bit, but he's not going to get enough to make the overtake. But will he be close enough by the end of the straight though to pull that little move up the inside? Because you might get a half-second penalty pulling that move for track limits, but it gains you so much time making the move, but he isn't going to. He's not close enough to do it. It's not worth trying it unless you're going to gain something. And they go into the final sector, and Aussie is just 1.1 behind TJ. TJ still has some work to do to hold him off. That's not over by any stretch of the imagination. So we're on lap 14, couple of laps left. Kevin's in the lead. He's 13 seconds clear now of TJ and the Renault Megane, with Aussie Rooster still battling, still fighting in the Lamborghini Not Murcielago in third. Fubar 26 seconds back in that Rooks, and he's good race from him actually this time out. I think he's comfortable there in fourth. 4.5 seconds is a lot of time for this Alpha to make up in these last 2 laps. But we'll see. You never know. You never know. GMAC in the BMW is ahead of Wiggy by 7.7 seconds, but he is 15 seconds off the top 5. And the tyres looking ropey. This could be something to worry about as those tyres go off. Can he keep them grippy for the next 2.5 laps, or 2 laps by the time he crosses the line here? And there's Wiggy in behind. He's getting a bit quicker. He's on much, much better quality tyres. So here he goes. When he crosses the line, he is 6.8 seconds back from GMAX. That gap is coming down. It will need to come down a lot faster though, that's the thing. He might be catching, but he's going to run out of laps. So we're on the penultimate lap here at Barcelona. This is race number 3 of 3 in the GR4 lottery. It's season 1 of GR4 lottery. And a big mistake there from Kevin. I thought we were going to lose him, but held it so well. Yeah, it's our first season of the GR4 lottery. We started with 15 drivers that wanted to get involved. We stuck 15 cars on the wheel. We spun them. We allocated them. Some people overjoyed. Some people absolutely fucking livid. And then we started with the racing, and some people dropped off. Some people came in. Some people have not been able to race every race. The numbers have dropped a little bit, but there is a good reason for that. You know, we knew about a few people who couldn't make it and stuff, so we weren't prepared. But then we got to the halfway point, and those that didn't like their car got to change their car, and then Stormfly got the Viper, and James got this thing. He got rid of the Atenza and got this, but seems to be happier with this than he was with the Atenza, despite the results not really bearing much more fruit than they were before. So out in front, 13 seconds, 13.9 seconds to lead. Aussie still not able to make a move on TJ here on this last lap. So Kevin is going to win this race significantly. TJ still holding off Aussie, but can he do it forever? In terms of fuel, they're both very similar. Aussie, though, looks like that front tyre is going to struggle. So he's going to get that struggle with the turning of that car, which means that I think TJ might have done enough for a second place there, which is some good juicy points for second. Absolutely good juicy points. So Kevin will round the last few corners, and he will bring this home for another win. 3 out of 3 again for Kevin 77. I've got to say, it's getting boring, buddy, man. It's getting boring. You've got to do, I don't know, drive backwards or something, or refuse to use top gear. I don't know, something. Just do something. And here he comes. He's going to round that like that final corner. Here he goes across the line, and another win for Kevin there at Barcelona. Here comes TJ. He has held off the charge of Aussie. Aussie's tyres didn't hold on for him, and he'll bring the Renault Megane home, but only just on fuel by the looks of it. Here he comes, TJ, to cross the line in second place. Here comes Aussie Rooster. Check a flag out for him. So there's your podium. Kevin from TJ from Aussie Rooster. Nick John Baker's also finished back in 8th place. 31 seconds back. Actually, the front 3 could have all pit. Well, Kevin certainly could. Here comes Fubar. Went for a different strategy this time back. It's worked out for him. He's in 4th place, 11 seconds ahead of the Alpha 155 of Avalon Shadow. So WRX will come home in 4th place. There he goes across the line. 12 seconds back is Avalon, just coming through that chicane. GMAC 10 seconds further back. Wiggy couldn't catch him. Tyres just holding on for Avalon. Will he make it across the line before he runs out? And we know what's going to happen here. He's going to whip that round, and he's going to reverse across the line. At least it wasn't with a flip-flop this time. At least it wasn't a flip-flop. Here comes, oh, G-Mac and Wiggy. Look at that to the line. That was close. Very, very close. But G-Mac just nicked that. So busy watching Avalon do his little trick shot. We nearly missed an overtake, but it didn't happen in the end anyway. So, apologies for the lack of numbers out there this evening, but you know, it is what it is. We did have some issues with the mic as well, but you know, sorry. But we're over. We're done. We're dusted. 3 wins for Kevin. So this is what we got. Next is Formula 1 2022 tomorrow. So no GT7 tomorrow. We are back over onto F1 for LNR at Monza. That is going to be live here from around 8:45. 8:45. And then on Wednesday, the Battle of the Teams. Black Flag versus VRC. We will be, it's the first sprint race, we'll be in the Alpha 155. They will be in the Sylvia. It will be a 3 20-minute races around a very, very cool racetrack. And that very cool racetrack is Lago Maggiore. That you cannot miss. It's going to be, the format's going to be single shot qualifying format. And then we've got one reverse grid thing. I think we'll do the reverse grid first. But no tyres, no fuel, nothing to worry about. It's just balls out racing. But a slightly different change to the team lineup, as we've lost a couple of people. We've lost Phil and we've lost Paul. The 2 Ps. We've lost the P boys for this week, and we'll have to. We're going to draft in a couple of ringers. No, I'm joking. We've drafted a couple of other lads that have been waiting in the wings to have a little race. So. All that's left to say is I've been part of this. Has been Black Flag Racing TV with the GR4 lottery. Back tomorrow at 8:45. See you then. Thanks for joining me.